All good. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Okay. Hello, hello. Lovely to see you too. Hello, lovely to see you all. All right. There are many, many things to discuss today. So, first of all, oh my gosh, it's going to be a very busy Sunday. I am so honored to be speaking for the Journey Within Church for their service on Sunday evening at 6:30. And if you're interested in that, I'm happy to get you a link for that. But more importantly, I am so excited to be participating in Soul Journey Sundays this Sunday at 7:30. So church service 6:30, Soul Journey Sunday 7:30. Very, very excited. Please be looking on my pages and you will be able to see the ticket information for Soul Journey Sunday. There's no I'm not sure how to share the church service, to be honest, but but Soul Journey Sunday is an amazing, wonderful event filled with like 30 different healers. There's 50, 60 of us. We rotate different healers, readers, all kinds of stuff. And when you buy a ticket, you are guaranteed 2 readings from different readers, healers. It is absolutely fantastic, and it is a great way to experience lots of different people, lots of different styles. So I'm excited because this week I am leading the meditation, and I will also be doing healing sessions, reading sessions in the breakout rooms. So you get to go into 2 different breakout rooms. So very excited. So Soul Journey Sundays this Sunday, and that is 7:30 Eastern Time, and the link is here on my pages, and you can go to Soul Journey Sundays and click and get tickets. So hello. So that is very exciting for me to share. And as I continue to share, so I want to share something else. There is much excitement. So I want to share something else. So we have Soul Journey Sundays at 7:30 this Sunday, and then starting in August, also with the Journey Within Church in New Jersey, starting in August, the Becoming an Empowered Empath class that has been available digitally for me on my education website, Dworkin-Smith Learn. That is, hello Australia, wow. That class is being taught live in August, so 4 Tuesdays in August. I am so excited for that. I'm going to post the link for that in a little bit. They're doing the promo video for it right now. We just did that a few minutes ago. So if you have been curious about the Becoming an Empowered Empath class, which is like $200 because it's 8 modules. This is an opportunity to get it for $85, and it is for the church in New Jersey, and it's going to be taught live. I'm teaching it live. I'm very, very excited about it. So it's like less than half the price. It's only 4 weeks instead of 8 modules, and it is going to be live. It's going to be interactive, and I am so excited to be able to bring this to a whole new group. And so this is going to be starting on August. August 5th, I believe, is the date. Yes, August 5th. And that's going to be for 4 Tuesdays, and that is very, very exciting. Looking forward to that. So to make sure you're watching on my Facebook page, my Instagram, all my places, we will be posting the links. The Soul Journey Sunday tickets for this Sunday are the links are already on Facebook and Instagram. And if you are, and then I will be posting the Becoming an Empowered Empath Live experience, that class. I will be posting the links for that after we're done here today. So I'm very, very excited. There's lots of things that are coming up. Also, if you have seen my socials at all, you will know about that absolutely marvelous, incredible, spectacular, wonderful experience that I had this weekend of driving just an hour south to Winter Haven to see my very dear friend Jody Benson, to sing in a concert that was a fundraiser for the theater in Winter Haven with her incredibly talented daughter. Now, Jody and I have been friends since my son was a toddler, since her son was a toddler, and since my younger son was born, and her daughter, who she sang, I am so blown away. I mean, I know this child since she's born, and to see her just shine was amazing. So if you have not seen some of the videos on my personal or on my Instagram, and I put some here as well. It's just really incredible with the fantastic composer and musical director Ben Rahala. I mean, what just an amazing way to spend a Saturday evening with friends. So just really remarkable when you see not just people who are finding their place in the world and standing in it and owning it and shining in their place in the world, but when you see that from someone you have literally known their entire life. I mean, you know, her father and I used to stand there with my son and push them in little swings at mommy and me class, and, you know, just stand there and chat, because that was, you know, and that's how far back we go. And when you see now the young adults that have grown into, you know, these humans who have grown into these amazing young adults, and how they're stepping into their place in the universe, is just really just magnificent and so incredibly special. So definitely check out the videos, because I love to brag on my friends of the incredible things that they do, and just the magic that Jody especially brings to the world. And so now we shift the gear to sadness. So not only a little bit of sadness, my very, very dear lifelong friend lost her mother this morning, but more about what's going on in Texas. And as the mom of as a mom of a kid who went to camp, as a person who went to camp, it is absolutely heartbreaking to see what's happening with Camp Mystic and everything that's going on in Texas. And so if you have the opportunity to just stop and say a little prayer for what's going on in Texas, I know it would be appreciated by so many people. My son and my younger son, who went to the camp that I went to, which is such a fun experience, they had a really unique perspective, because here in Florida we are home to two of the worst mass shootings in the history of our country, with Pulse nightclub here in Orlando and the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting down in Parkland, which is down near Coral Springs and Boca Raton. And one of the kids who was murdered in that shooting in Parkland was a camper at our camp, where my son had been a camper. And while he didn't know Alyssa Alhadeff particularly well, he certainly knew who she was. And our camp has issued a statement and knows uniquely the feeling of losing a camper to something senseless, but to lose so many and to be in the midst of such drama and uncertainty and tragedy is really difficult, and it is harming so many people, not just, and I'm not trying to be political today, okay, but it's harming so many people, not just because this happened, and whether or not it could have been prevented is going to be, you know, a thing, but that so many people are emotionally and energetically reeling from it is really the big part of it. And so I am, hi Allie Belly, I am very honored and excited that the Journey Within Church in New Jersey has asked me to bring this Becoming an Empowered Empath course to live teaching, because I feel like we really need this. We need this more interactive class where we can discuss and talk about the things that are going on and how we're feeling and processing them. But there's a lot. And you've heard me say this before. There is a lot that is going on. There is a lot that is shifting in the universe. There is a lot that is pulling our attention and causing us to feel drained and overwhelmed. And so I wanted to share two things with you today before we get to cards that were from people that I follow who I really respect. And one is Kyle Gray. And you should know Kyle's name because we use his Angel Oracle cards, and we've used other of his cards, and I really do appreciate the beauty and the thought that he puts into his cards. And he also does an Angel Card Monday thing, an email he sends out on Mondays. So, definitely worth getting on his email list. And the other one is from Yasmin Boland, and I've mentioned Yasmin here a bunch of times. She's our moonology expert. Kyle is our archangel's angel expert. I take a lot of wisdom from Kyle. And then Yasmin is our moonology expert. And so we have, with moonology, we have the full moon coming on Wednesday. And this is, like a lot of them, it's going to be a doozy. So we want to make sure that we are, protecting ourselves and being prepared and understanding what's going on. So I wanted to share these two things that came to me today, because Kyle was writing about negative thoughts and anxiety, and I thought that was very timely for today with everything that's going on in Texas. And also, let's not forget that the first hurricane of the season, Chantal, was going through, as now thankfully, a tropical depression, and probably even less than that now. But if you're not in the midst of a hurricane, you might not even know there was one going on. And when you're in the midst of a hurricane, it's kind of hard to know anything else. So we want to absolutely send some prayers and love and protection things to the folks who are in the southeast. It's above Florida. It hit into like North Carolina, South Carolina, into Virginia as she moves back out into the ocean for Chantal. So here it is, very early July, and we already have a first name storm, and we haven't seen that quite so early recently. So we definitely want to be on the lookout, especially with not sure what's going on with the weather service. So Kyle Gray shared this today, and he said, one of the greatest misconceptions in modern spiritual teachings is the belief that a single negative thought or a moment of anxiety will manifest negativity in your life. But the truth is that being human means feeling everything. We are here to experience the full range of emotion: joy, sorrow, certainty, overwhelm, hope, fear. It's impossible to live a human life without suffering. And it's unrealistic and even unfair to believe that anxiety makes us somehow spiritually deficient or energetically toxic. And he says, as someone who is learning to hold both joy and sorrow in the same breath, I want to share something I've come to understand. Anxiety is not a curse. It is not a magnet for bad things. Anxiety is a feeling of care. It is often a sign that your heart is deeply invested and that you're trying to protect what matters to you, even if you cannot control the outcome. It can arise from sensitivity to trauma, from love, and while anxiety can be overwhelming, it does not predict your future. Most of the thoughts that come with it will never, ever come true. What we can do is build a spiritual practice that brings us home to ourselves. We can come back again and again to a power greater than our fear, staying connected. These days, when anxiety rises, I meet it with a prayer and I speak a deeper truth. God's plan is greater than my fear. Love is stronger than worry. And he says, I trust even in this, especially in this, I am being guided. And I really appreciate that, because we can feel like that, where we can feel lost and completely, overwhelmed with what's going on in the world right now. I don't know why they would have started the first name storm. Oh, I do know why they did, because there were two Pacific storms. That's why. So we've already had A and B. They just were cyclones in the Pacific side. They were not Atlantic side hurricanes. That's why. I believe. I mean, I know that there have been Pacific hurricanes, so cyclones. So I believe that's why. A good quote from Mark Twain: I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which have never happened. So we talk a lot, and you've heard me talk a lot, especially with the Unspooling Your DNA class information, about how things are not happening to us, they're happening for us, and what is it the universe is trying to show us, what is it that God is trying to show us. And I love this part that Kyle says, I trust that even in this, especially in this, whatever this trauma, drama, mud, slog thing that we are working through, especially in this, that we are being guided. Because if we weren't being guided as we slog through drama, trauma, whatever the mud is, we'd be dead. If we weren't being guided, we would have given up. We would not make it through. And I love this quote that says, our track record of getting through shit, drama, trauma, whatever it is that we have slogged our way through up until this very moment of our lives, our track record of getting through it is 100%, because we're here. And if our track record was not 100% for getting through all of the trauma, drama, slog, horse poop, we would not be here. And we are here, which means we have a pretty impressive and strong track record for getting through the crap that comes our way. Because nobody gets through this life without having some crap come their way. There's not ever been a human leader person to speak from some kind of platform or pedestal to say, oh, it's a cakewalk. What are you people whining about? Nobody says that because it's not true. And anywhere that we are going and any time that we are striving forward, whether we are striving for our own self to simply get out of bed and go forward and tackle a to-do list, or whether we are striving to change the entire world, it is still striving. And we are not judging our strive against someone else's strive. We say, I am striving and you are striving, and I wish us both well on our journey. Okay? We do not compare my journey to yours, my drama to yours. We don't need to do that because nobody wins in that. We all just feel worse. We are both striving. We are all striving. And as we go forward, we say and remember that we are being guided in all of these things, because if we were not, we would not be here. And it is that simple. So let me share this other part from Yasmin, because she talks about what's coming up with this full moon in Capricorn that is coming up on Wednesday. It says, because this is this is going to be a powerhouse, okay? It says, if you're feeling ready, so now here, this is where these two things came together for me, okay? If you're feeling ready to make a change, this is your moment. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Now, we've talked a lot about Saturn over the last couple of weeks, right? We talked about Saturn and Neptune and Venus and being the big energy movers and shakers, right? Things that were shaking, planets that were really shaking things up. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet that asks us to take life seriously. It's the part of us that's willing to commit to the goal, to persevere, to do the hard work, not for the instant gratification, but for the long-term success. So when we get this full moon in this kind of a powerful sign, it's time for us to pause and reflect on the goals, the ambitions, commitments. Where are we? What are we doing? Where are we going? How are we showing up in the world? Full moons are always the turning point. And this one is especially potent for releasing old patterns, stories around success, structure, status, and self-discipline. So if you feel like you've been drifting a little bit, lacking a little focus, clarity, or drive, this lunation offers you a cosmic reset. And she's offered some really wonderful questions. So you might feel like if you want to write this down. Now, I will put these things into the Facebook page when we're done. And I apologize, it's hard for me to put these text things onto Instagram, but they are on the they will be on the Facebook page. And so Yasmin presents these questions. What goals no longer feel aligned? Now, that's a very regular full moon question, right? We talk about how the energy in the full moon comes down from the bottom where the new moon is, where we set our intention, and how we go up to the top of the Ferris wheel every single moon cycle, and we get to the top of the full moon and we say, hey, let me look around and see what it is that is still like a periscope. I've got this great view at the top of the Ferris wheel. What is going on? Let me take a look and see, where am I going? Where am I doing? Am I still going in the right direction? What no longer feels aligned. So the second question she has is, where have I been too rigid or not structured enough? So do I need a little more of this, a little more of that? Where have I been too rigid or not structured enough? And the third question she offered was, what would success mean to me now? What would success really mean to me now? If I was successful in the thing that was the goal that I set at the bottom at the new moon, and now I'm at the top and I'm looking around and I'm saying, okay, where am I going? What is that? What would that success mean? Now, here's here's a little pet peeve for me. Okay, here's a little pet peeve. So I get these things where I love to watch, and we're kind of late to the party with this, but my husband and I have recently discovered AGT, America's Got Talent. I always saw these little videos. People would put these videos on that make you cry. They have different auditions and stuff, but we never really watched it. And we started watching it because a friend of ours was going to be on, and we started watching it, and we just love it. It is fabulous. It's so fun and silly and wonderful and marvelous, and some things are stupid, and some things are really good, and some things it's just a really fun show to watch. And I really like these the reality shows that bring out the best in people. I'm not like one that's into like Survivor or Big Brother or things that bring out the worst in people. I really like the ones I like Dancing with the Stars. It brings out the best in people. People got to like rise up. They got to challenge themselves in a good way, right? They got to take a step, take a risk. So I like those kind of things. And so where was I going with this? Oh, so they asked the people, if you were to win $1 million, what would that mean to you? And everybody, almost to a T, will say, it would mean everything. And I'm like, that is not a good answer. That is not a well thought out answer. That means you have not thought about what this blessing could be in your life. We got all the AGT fans. Woo! Okay, so if you're an AGT fan, you have to watch tomorrow because my friend Adam is on. I'm very excited. Adam Borland, dancer. Can't wait. So excited. That's tomorrow. Okay, back to this. If somebody asks you, what would that mean to you? And you say, everything? That is not a good answer. I'm sorry. Yes, okay, it can mean everything. That's fine. But what? What? Because if you don't know, then you haven't thought about the goal and how it could or would impact your life and the why that you're even, like, why are you even taking it on? Chris has the AGT, the BGT, the CGT. I don't know what those things are. Oh, Britain's Got Talent, and then somebody else has got talent. Okay, so if you don't know what it could mean for you to reach a goal, to change your life, what it is that you are aiming for, where you're going and why you're going there, if you don't know why and what that could mean for you, then you are not fully invested in this goal. Canada, okay. Then you're not fully invested in the goal. I see Stacy's comment. I'm going to come back to that in a second. It is so important for us to stop and think, why is this important? Now, I didn't mean to get off on a whole AGT alphabet soup there, but yay. But when people say, what would this mean to you? And you say, it means everything. What does that mean? Because knowing what our goal is and knowing the why is so much of the power in that connection to the universe of unspooling our DNA to help us to create it and manifest it in the first place. So let me use, I love to use my personal example, so to be transparent and it's also to help you to understand. So I created this Becoming an Empowered Empath class. I created this class, this online course, during COVID, because during COVID, we were so connected energetically and emotionally, and people were the noise had stopped because we were all in our bubbles, in our protective bubbles, and in our homes, and safely distancing, and all that stuff. And the noise stopped. And people had these realizations and these revelations, and they suddenly realized they were connected to each other or not connected to each other, or they had been hearing this cacophony that they never understood, and now they were resting and they weren't exhausted and sick all the time. And all of these things happened, and so many people contacted me during COVID to say, what is going on? Why is this happening? I said, empath. You're an empath. And when it started to be every day, you're an empath. You're an untrained empath. Every single day, you're an untrained. Oh, let me help you train. Let me help you understand what being an empath is about and how, why, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, this is crazy. I can't keep teaching the same thing over and over all day long. We've got to make this available for everyone. So that was where the class originally started. And so it's been out on my Sherry Dworkin-Smith Learn website. Now, I will tell you to go get it because it's it's a great class. However, if you get it from my website right now, you're going to pay twice as much. Okay, so don't do it. Okay, wait, and I'm going to put the link for the class with the church because they're offering it instead of $200, they're offering it for $85. Okay, and it's 4 weeks instead of 8. Okay, but this is so important because when we are empaths, so okay, this wasn't about being an empath, but I knew why. It was about the why. I knew why, when I created the class, why it was so important. There is so much shift. I knew why it was so important for me, because this clearly was coming to me. All these people were coming to me. This work, and you've heard me say this before, do the work you've been given, that the work I was given had been landing in my lap. Empath over empath over empath over empath, after. I was like, this is work I'm supposed to do. So I created this class. And I knew it was important, whether the class made much money or not, it was about getting the information out there and being a resource for people to better understand their shifts and how they were understanding and how they were functioning in the world so that they could be healthier, stronger, more insightful, and use their empathic abilities as a gift and not as a burden. That was the why. So if the class sold, let's say it sold like gangbusters and it was a life-changing economical success. It was great. Don't get me wrong, it was great. That wasn't the point of the class. The point of the class was to create a space where the information was available so people could live healthier, more peaceful, more insightful lives. That is what the class meant to me. That is when somebody, and we still use this as one of the logos, it says, this class was so life-changing. This woman took a picture of her computer screen with me when she was watching the videos and laid over top of it and made an Instagram post and gave me permission to use it, of how the class had affected her. And that was exactly the point. She was exactly what she said was exactly what we were trying to do, was to try and help other people to live healthier, more peaceful, more energetically, aligned lives without being so overwhelmed and burdened by everything going on around. That was the why. And so when somebody says, well, what does it mean to you for that class to be a success? That's what it means. That's what it means. It wasn't about the economical, change. It was about helping people understand and grow. Okay? So, long explanation. What is it that your goal, whatever it is, that you're working on, where you're going, what you're doing, whatever it is, or that maybe it's not a specific goal. Maybe it's just a want. Maybe it's something you just want your life to be like. That's a goal too, okay? It doesn't have to be, I want to accomplish something, okay? It could be, what is it I want my life to be like? What do I want to have in my life? What kind of a experience or connection do I want to have? All of those things are part of having a goal and being in that alignment. But if you don't know what it means to you, and so back to Yasmin's question, what would success really mean to me now? We got to think about it, because if we don't know, how can we communicate that to the universe? How can we communicate that to ourselves? How can we possibly know what steps to take to go forward? How can we possibly create it if we have no idea what it would mean? Okay. Stacy says I have to watch Michael McIntyre. Okay, I'll check it out. Surprise guests. Amazing. Awesome. Okay. So the last thing that Yasmin said was, it's time to let go of outdated definitions about ambition and set your sights high. Set your sights on what truly matters to you. Okay, not what used to matter. Okay, or what you think that you should want, or what somebody else has made you think that you should want. If you want success and you're serious about success, but if you're off your, she says if you've been off the boil lately, which is a British or Australian, I know that's a her speak. But if you've been off the boil lately, this is your chance to realign and recommit. Okay, so I really wanted to share this because when I was really tuning in, both of these emails had come across my inbox kind of one after the other, and I went, oh my gosh, that's exactly what we need to talk about today. So you don't need a huge goal. You don't need to compare your goal or your strive with anybody else, and you don't need to even have a specific goal. It could be a want. I want this in my life. Okay, but why? Because these things are really important to understanding, and that is how we communicate with the universe. Why do I want this thing to happen? Because if we don't know why we want something, how are we supposed to know what steps to take towards it? Okay? All right. A lot of information today. There was a lot of things I wanted to share. So, Soul Journey Sundays this Sunday at 7:30. 7:30. It'll go till it's a little under 2 hours. So 6:30. Soul Journey Sundays is 7:30 Eastern to 9:15. Each ticket guarantees you. We have the meditation. I will be leading meditation, and then it guarantees you readings from 2 different professionals. And it is amazing because you go into breakout rooms. You might meet somebody really amazing that you keep in touch with, something. But you'll get a reading from one person in the breakout room, and then there's usually 2 or 3 people in the breakout room, and then you go into another breakout room, and you get a reading from another person. So there's no selection of like who you get a reading from, so you can't pick me. But if you will get readings from all different kinds of healers and readers and energy people and life regressionists and Akashic Records people and pet communicators. And it's just an amazing opportunity to really see and connect with a whole lot of people who are excellent at what they do, and that they do a lot of different things. So that is Sunday. This Sunday, you must have a ticket. It will sell out. 7:30 to 9:15 Eastern Time. Okay, and then the link for the Becoming an Empowered Empath live class, which starts on August 5th, 4 Tuesdays, that I will post after today, after our time together today. Okay, I need to get some water and we'll pull some cards for the community and then we'll do some individuals. Sorry, they had so many things they wanted me. I had so many things. We discussed it ahead of time. We had so many things that wanted to be communicated today. So we're going to grab Kyle Gray's cards and we're going to pull an Archangel card and we're going to see what's going on, because I find it so comforting to know which Archangel is hanging out with us each week. That helps me personally kind of know a little bit more about what's going on in the world and, how the angels are viewing what's going on in the world. I'm pretty sure they always are looking down going, that people be crazy. What are they doing? So, but I appreciate their insight and the fact that they don't give up on us. So this is Hamuel, relationship assignments. No one crosses your path by chance. My son is out in the yard, so my dogs are losing their mind. No one crosses your path by chance. Choose to see the deeper reasons for people in your life. This is Hamuel. Now, I really love Hamuel. Hamuel also helps to find lost objects, and he is also a kind of a prankster, so I like Hamuel very much. All right, so today I felt really like I wanted to use something different, so we've got Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle cards today. I love this deck. It really is one of my favorites. I know we've been doing Colette's decks a lot recently, but I kind of stopped using the Rebecca deck because they're so well used. They're just breaking. And I've just been trying to be more gentle with them. That's right, Sharon. There are absolutely no coincidences and no chance meetings. Everything happens for a reason, even if we can't know it in the moment. So we just trust it. And the coincidences, those things, those synchronicities, those are really spirit and the universe trying to get our attention to try to say, hey, look over there, you're missing the thing I'm trying to show you. So it's really, really important. So what do we need to know about what's going on right now? And this is play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. It literally says that. So there's a lot that's going on. There's a lot that's going on. And we can really get ourselves stuck in the drama and the trauma and the noise, and it is really, and this is a great reminder for us to be light and to stay engaged with love and to stay engaged with joy, because joy and love and gratitude, we know, are the highest vibrations of the universe, right? We know that that is the engine, right? Love and gratitude, joy, that is the high vibration. So when we stay in that place, rather than in the doom and the gloom and everything's going to hell, we keep our energy vibrations high. We're much more in alignment with ourselves. We're much more able to hear spirit. We're much more able to manifest and communicate and connect with others who are like-minded. The question was asked, what was the deck? This is Rebecca Campbell, Work Your Light Oracle. Okay, love this deck. Okay, so we are reminded to play. We're reminded not to take everything. We don't have to burst into flames for every cotton picking stupid thing that comes, down the pike. So we have the opportunity to say, let me pick my battle on this one, right? Okay. All right. This is Akasha. Akasha is Akashic Records. This is your guidance is divinely guided. So we've been talking about that a lot, right? So even in the drama, what Kyle Gray shared, even in the drama, even in the trauma, the hard things, when we're slugging through the mud, we are being guided. I know even in this, especially in this, I am being guided, right? And we say thank you, because I don't even want to think about what my life would be like if I wasn't being guided, because I got my son a t-shirt. My older son is very sarcastic, and that's one of the things I just, he's hilarious. And we have gotten him this collection of, sarcastic kind of snarky t-shirts, and they're hilarious. And one of the t-shirts that I know we have gotten him through the years, it says, in my own defense, I was left unattended. And honestly, I feel like that every day. I feel like that every day. Don't you leave me unattended. You just have no idea what's going to happen if you just leave me to my own devices. So this one comes in upside down, but this deck doesn't really do the upside down, right side down thing, which you've seen me do in other decks. And this is the Star Mother. It says, how can you mother yourself? Okay, the Star Mother, this is Mother Mary, Jesus' mother. She is the mother of all. And it is, energetically, spiritually, she really is, whatever your religious beliefs are, she is about love. okay? And she's also about trust and faith in God, faith in the universe. But this is how do you mother yourself, and this is about taking care, okay? And so while there are things that are going on, and it is loud, and we've been talking about the loud for years, right? Because we are in this generation, this time of the throat chakra, and the world is very, very loud, okay? It is really important that we are making sure that we are checking ourselves, we are checking our heart, we're checking our head, we're checking our guts, making sure, like, do I need to react to this? Do I need to be part of this? Do I need to sign on to that? Can I say no? Yes, we can say no. We don't need an explanation when we say no to something. We don't have to make a justification. We can simply say, this is not in alignment with my schedule or my goals, or this doesn't work for me at this time. Thank you for the offer. I'm going to let you bless someone else with that. Okay, we don't need to offer justification just because we want to put a boundary. Okay, these cards they're gorgeous. They're absolutely beautifully. Oh, that's hilarious because the one card jumped out and I would just put it to the side for a minute. But this is the boundaries card. So, and literally just heard me say that. So this is the boundary card. Where do you need to establish a better boundary? The colors on these are just so beautiful. They really resonate with me. All right, so we're going to pull a couple of our Malachim cards, our Israeli angel cards, and then we're going to jump into the individual readings. So we have celebration and liberation. That's very, very interesting. Celebration and liberation. And these cards, if you haven't seen these with us yet before, these are Israeli angel cards. They are written in Hebrew, Arabic, and English. Liberation and celebration. And I actually really like that, how that goes together, because when we stay in that place of love, we really are liberating ourselves from the place of anger and frustration and resentment and dark and doom and gloom. When we can stay in that place of celebrating whatever the blessings are, even the little ones, we really raise our vibration back into that place of love and gratitude, and then we are able to see things more clearly. When we can liberate ourselves from the darkness, when we allow ourselves to sink into that news cycle that's just like, it can be very, very depleting. So the celebration really is the liberation. And if you are, someone who follows the Jewish faith as I do you know that we have, the celebration is usually, there's a joke around most holidays. They tried to kill us, we won, let's eat. So there's celebration and liberation. So, yummy, yummy, yummy. Maybe it's the liberation of the hostages and the celebration of cessation of war. That would be marvelous. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I know that there are ceasefire talks that are going on, and I pray that and I know Netanyahu is in D.C. today, and so I pray that maybe there's something that they can come to that would finally bring an end to the madness that has been part of the Middle East for decades. Okay, let's move on to individual card readings. If you are ready for your individual card reading, make sure you just let me know in the comments. Just say card, please, whatever it is. And thank you for Chris for providing the, I think it's the Arabic translations for these cards. I think I didn't look at the Hagiga. Celebration in Hebrew is Hagiga. I know that one. And in Shachar is liberation. Shachar. I'm gonna guess that. Okay. So, but I know Hagiga is celebration. So, from my just my knowledge. So, all right, we're gonna start today on Instagram because I always start on Facebook. So we're gonna start on Instagram today. All right, so my friend Ellen reminds us today that Uranus moves into Gemini today. All right, so that is, okay, so Ellen, I'm going to pull a card for you, but maybe when you get a second you can tell us why that is important, because you are way more astrologically aware than I am. So, okay, and so we have Ellen and Krantz. So we've got Ellen first. This is birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. So Ellen, this is talking about what you are bringing to the table, new offerings, new adventures, new openings, heart openings, and allowing yourself to be seen. And I know you are spectacular at that. If you all are not following Ellie Wellness on Instagram, you definitely want to, because she posts the most marvelous little videos. But this is really about giving yourself permission to continue to grow and to continue to go in new directions. directions, because it does feel like there's some new piece that wants to, thank you, Michelle, there is some, piece of expansion that is there for you about allowing the things where you've been holding back the words to be said. Okay, this is where it's feeling to me as I'm like leaning into this and say, oh, no, I don't want to make you cry. But this is about allowing yourself to be heard and allowing those things that you've been holding back to be seen. Okay, so allowing your words and your voice to be heard. This says birthing a new age, but this is dreaming a new world into being. But really what I'm hearing is about allowing your voice to be heard. So the question on Facebook is Elihu. It's ELLIE, wellness. And she is on Instagram, and she posts marvelous things, really beautiful posts. So, so that is there. And Michelle Krantz, hello. I'm so glad you said that because I know your name. Of course I do. But when it comes through, we all have our little monikers, so I sometimes don't always know what their names are. So we have Michelle. This is do not dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? So that was a big leap for you, I think, to be able to share your name and to know that you're able to be to have a trusted space here. And so this wants to confirm that, to say, hey, listen, we want to know you, we want to see you, the world wants to see you, the world wants to hear from you, to allow yourself to be seen and heard, to allow your voice to be heard, that you have things to offer that are important, so that you are not hiding behind others, that you are not hiding, and you don't need to change your Instagram name, okay, but it is really about not hiding behind others, letting others to carry the banner that you're following along. It's okay for you to say either I want to carry a different banner or I want to carry a banner, take my turn to carry the banner. If you've ever seen geese that fly in the formation, they literally do take turns, like the birds. One will take the point, and then when that bird gets tired, he or she will fall back, and another one will come in and take the point. So they're talking about you stepping in to let your light shine and let your voice be heard. So that's for Michelle. All right, and Sharon, my Hebrew teacher, tutor, mentor, says that liberation is shaharur. So I was close. Which is great because I'm working on reading my Hebrew without vowels. So LA says these are all Uranus things that are happening, and all part of the Great Awakening. So there you go. So Uranus is moving into, what did you say? I lost the comments. Uranus is moving into Gemini today. So you are very welcome, my friends. All right, so we're going to come back over to Facebook, and we'll do the cards, the queries in order. So we are going to scroll back. We're going to start with Sharon, and then we'll have Ellen, different Ellen. So we have Sharon. So Sharon, this is the soul family. Call in your tribe. You don't have to carry everything alone, okay? This is reminding you to connect with other people. This is good for all of us, right? It's a reminder for us to connect with other people. When the noise gets loud, it can be sometimes where we just want to step back and we want to just cocoon in. And this is reminding us that we are stronger together, okay? So Sharon, this is really, we are stronger together. Make sure that you are connecting, whether it's old friends, whether it's your family, whatever it is, that you are calling in your soul tribe and making sure that we are asking for help. Because here's the thing, we get this thing where we're like, oh, I can't ask for help because people then I got to explain everything and I got to tell what's going on, or I've got, they'll think I'm weak or I can't handle it myself. And I have had that. Like my husband went through a whole thing where I just wouldn't tell him things because I didn't want him to think, because he was always traveling, I didn't want him to think I couldn't handle, when our kids were little or whatever, that everything was okay. Like the last thing I wanted was for him to worry about what was going on at home. But that's not weakness. Asking for help is not weakness. And, he was able to explain to me, this years ago, be like, look, I want to know what's going on. I might not be able to help. And how horrible for him to feel like he's so cut off and helpless, but I still want to know what's going on because I still want to be involved. I still want to support you, even if it's just with words. So connecting with others, Sharon, this is talking to you about connecting with others. So there may be somebody who was close to you, that maybe the relationship just through life circumstances is maybe pulled apart, but with no less love. But it's nice when we can reach out to those people who've been important to us and say, hey, listen, you're important. I would love for us to like reconnect, rekindle. Because so often those messages are met with, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear from you. I will even say that right before we went live today, I haven't had a chance to answer today. I got a text message from someone I haven't heard from in the longest time and said, you've been on my mind. And I just wanted to check in with you. I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Isn't that like so, marvelous, so that someone was reaching out to me because I know I reach out to people as well. So what a lovely confirmation from the universe. So I will return that later. So Sharon says, the universe knows I need this right now. You are so welcome. I am so glad. That is wonderful. The cards are they are the eavesdroppers. They know. They really know. All right, Ellen, Jane, and then Stacy. All right, Ellen. You are already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. So, Ellen, keep rocking it, girl. Okay, so look. This card reminds you you're on the right track. It reminds you of your strength, your courage, your dedication. It reminds you of your commitment to yourself and your willingness to stand in the gap to do the work that you've been given. Okay, so Ellen, it doesn't have to be like big. You could be doing the work that you've been given is in your house. It could be doing the work that you've been given is, like Stephen, going on YouTube every day. It could be whatever your work is, but whatever it is that you're doing, Ellen, stay the course, because you're being supported. You're being reminded that your voice matters, your presence matters, showing up to be part of something matters. Okay, Ellen, those connections that you're making are really, really important. The people you're supporting, whether you're the leader or not, the people you are supporting is really important, and it is making a difference for the people around you. So please do not. Self-care is important, okay? Sometimes we need to take a minute and be like, yeah, I gotta sit this one out, and that is okay. But Ellen, the connections that you are making and the way that you are supporting people is super important, so don't lose them, okay? All right. Stacy Claxton, Applegate, and then Stephen. We are very excited. My son is out working out, is somewhere. All right, break the chain. This is Stacy. Break the chain. Ancestral patterns, healing, and rewriting the future. So Stacy, stop listening to those other people. Stop listening to the people who are shoulding in your life. Stop listening to the people who are saying, oh, well, this is the way we did it because this is the way we've always done it, and you've got a better way, and you've got a way that works for you, and you're following what's in your heart. So take this as again, this confirmation, because I really love to make sure that the messages we're sharing are those positive messages. So Stacy, take this as for you to stand in your own space, to stand in your own, claiming your space. We talked about boundaries for a minute before, but this is important for you to stand in your own space, okay, and that you are walking the path that is right for Stacy and not for somebody else, and you're not walking a path that somebody thinks you should be walking, okay? So this is about Stacy staying true to Stacy, okay? All right, Stephen should probably be in his new home by now, his new condo, so we're very excited for that. Look forward to hearing more about that. Let's see what is going on. So Stephen, this is Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle, it says. You are the oracle. Now, for those of you who don't know, Stephen does, and I will profess I have kind of peeked here and there. I haven't really watched it, and I apologize. But Stephen has a YouTube channel with, I think, financial and world market and very intelligent stuff that he does. But he is, in very many ways, he's an oracle to a lot of people. And the thing about this, though, is about being your own oracle. And I know that's something that we've talked about before. And so this is this reminder that whatever the situations are, because I know a lot of things have been changing for you, my friend, that you are listening to your true heart, and you are not listening to someone else, that you are to be able to listening to your true heart and not turning yourself to please someone else, and that you are staying the course for that's right for you. Your vibration is rising, and I know that that's something that Stephen and I have talked about before, about vibrations that are rising. It's really important that you are staying on your path and not someone else's path. So take that for that, because you have a lot to say, and you have a lot to share, and there's a lot of resonance, and there's still more growth for you. I know sometimes we can feel like we are like, oh, I got it, I understand the universe, and I am all now, enlightened. We still have a lot more growth and a lot more evolvement and evolution and growth and education. So you are on that right path, but make sure you're staying it's on your path and not someone else's. Okay, you are welcome. Okay, let's see, what do we got? Belinda and then Chris, because things are fucking hard right now, and things are hard right now for a lot of people, but we're all going to send a little extra light to Chris because there's a memorial service for someone who's important to her that's coming up this week, and I know that is really very difficult. So we're going to start with Belinda. Belinda, this is Lemuria. This is creating heaven on earth. So Belinda, this is about keeping tapped into the joy, and I think you said you're in Australia right now, which that's pretty awesome. So keeping tapped into the joy, keeping tapped into the love, the light, the gifts of the journey, okay? Because here's the thing, we have this idea that if we do everything right, then, peace will come to the land, and, the messiahs of any various religions, what have you, will come, and everything will suddenly be, world peace. But that's really garbage, okay? We create peace on earth in our own corner of it. We create peace in our own circles. We create peace in our own hearts. And that is where we're going to create peace that expands out. And so, Belinda, this is reminding you that there's no real such thing as like this utopia, but we can create that ourselves, okay? And so, Belinda, this is reminding you about self-care and self-protection and making sure that you're doing the things that are creating that love bubble for your own self. So that is going to give you the protection, but also is going to help you raise that vibration to shift those around you who are not getting it, because it feels like there may be a few around you who are not quite getting, like, the love is the engine of the universe part. And so this is telling you we can create, like with everything that's going on in the world right now, and there is a lot. My home, my family, my kids, my pets, like I'm so blessed and grateful and happy, even with all the noise that's going on out there. And so this card is reminding you that we start creating heaven on earth in our own backyards. Was it Dorothy said, no place like home, right? So that's for Belinda. All right, so we've got Chris. Transformation. Things are changing on a cellular level for deep healing. Now, this is very, very interesting because we know change is super hard. We know transformation is super hard. So I can think of like a bunch of examples from scary movies, though I do not watch scary movies, but I'm going to stick with this one from the Harry Potter movies, where I think it's the Chamber of Secrets, where they take the potion to have Hermione and Ron and Harry turn into the kids from the other house to be able to spy from Gryffindor to Slytherin, and they transform, and you see their faces are bubbling, and then Hermione becomes a cat. Transformation is not easy. It is hard. It is painful. It is difficult. But when we get to the other side of it, we are able to see things from a different perspective. So you are going in the right direction. The things are happening for a reason. Things are happening for a purpose. And it is important that you are allowing this to continue. First of all, allowing. Second of all, because we don't really have a choice, okay? Because someone very near and dear to Chris had passed away, and now there's a memorial service, and we don't get to stop death, and that sucks, because I know there's many, many times we would choose to if we could. However, we know our loved ones are with us, and we know that they are transforming, and that they are still able to help us from the other side. So keep going and trust this process. I know this is so fucking hard, but trust this process, okay? Belinda, you are so welcome. I'm so glad it resonates. And Chris Judd has put Stephen's link and his financial wisdom from his Facebook page, and thank you so much for that. Always happy to shine a light on other people and the wonderful things that they are doing. So let's see, Elias, I think, did we get everybody? Kimmy Smith, weird. I knew there was a couple others. Okay, Kimmy Smith and Belinda. Did we not do Belinda? Belinda Jones. We did Belinda, right? We did. Okay, Belinda snuck in there twice. All right, Kimmy. Kimmy. Take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. So, Kimmy, give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. It's not too late to get a card. Ask the card. Right? Say, hey, hooray. Okay? Give yourself a break, Kimmy. And allow yourself to reconnect with what it is that you truly want instead of going in the direction because it's the direction you've been going in. Okay? Allow yourself to reassess. Allow yourself to reconnect. Allow yourself to redesign, to say, what is it I really want? Because you have permission. Give yourself permission to do that. Yes, Steven is in the new townhome. Hooray! Stacy says, woohoo, on point. You are welcome. You are welcome. We got a Kimmy Smith card. And awesome. We got Steven's thing. Okay, the service tomorrow night. The service for Kevin is tomorrow night. It will be led by Reverend Chris Jedd, the Decedent's best friend. Decedent's. I think there's a D that's supposed to be in the Decedent's best friend. Yes. Chris and Kevin were besties for many years. I've known Chris for a long time, and I've never had the privilege of meeting Kevin, but I certainly did hear a lot about him. So we want to send lots of good vibes to Chris to be able to get through it and to lead it beautifully, which we know that she will, and to be able to celebrate her very dear friend. So it's not easy. Okay, so we're going to pull one more card. Look, every week, if you come every week, you start to see that each week has sort of an overarching theme, right? So the theme today really does seem to be connect with yourself, figure out what it is that you want, where you're going, which is in alignment with the things that were shared by Kyle and Yasmin, and allow yourself the space to grow. Allow yourself the space to hear, to listen, to reconnect to the heart, to vibrate at the higher levels, right? We want to stay in our lane. We want to do the things that are right for us. We want to do the things that are vibing with us and not the things that other people are telling us we should be doing, okay? So stay connected to your own true self. This Capricorn season, it's not the Capricorn zodiac season, but the full moon is in Capricorn. It's talking to us about realigning and reconnecting with our truest selves and what is it that we want and what's going to bring us joy. And remember what we talked about. If you are not sure, like, what is success going to mean to you? What if you have this thing that happens that you want in your life? What does that mean for you? Because if you say, oh, that would just mean everything, then you haven't thought it through, okay? You haven't thought it through. Now, I do give the people on the television a little bit of, like, grace, because when you're on live TV and somebody says, puts a mic in your face and says, what does that mean to you? And you go, oh, everything. So I get it. But let's think it through, okay? Remember that if you would like to participate in Soul Journey Sundays, that's this Sunday. The link is already on the socials. That is this Sunday at 7:30 Eastern. Live readings and healings and all kinds of things. And then the links for Becoming an Empowered Empath Live, 4 weeks, Tuesday night, starting on August 5th. Live, taught live, interactive. That's going to be on. I'm going to post that later today. So the card for us to finish it all up today is Leap. The card is Leap. It says, you go first, the universe will catch you. Okay? What a beautiful reminder that we are not alone. We are never not supported. Okay? I know I'm being supported, even in this, especially in this. I am supported. And dear God, thank you for that, because I wouldn't even want to imagine my life if I wasn't being supported, okay, by something bigger than me. Leap, the universe will catch you. Love this card. Go bless. Know how very, very much you are all so loved. Thank you for taking time to be with us today, sharing your words, your comments, your energy, your love, your support of each other, your support of our community. Such an honor to be with you on Mondays. I will see you next week. And please remember always how very much you are loved. Mwah. We'll see you next week.